What's going on, everybody? So today we're going to be taking a look at how you can process your hi-hats, add groove to them, and make really good patterns that are going to work well on any single beat that you put them on. So let's jump right into this one. Alright, so the first thing that you should start doing is playing your hi-hats on a MIDI keyboard of some kind. That way it captures the velocity and it catches the swing of the notes when they're played off the grid a little bit. So I have a little MIDI keyboard that I'm using here, and I'm just going to play a very simple pattern. I'm going to get the beat down, and then I'm going to go ahead and click this button right here, which will save the MIDI that I just played. So. Alright, so once you have your notes recorded, you can go through here and you can change some of the velocities. Like if you hit the pad really hard, then the velocity might be all the way up, and you might not want it to be that high. So I reduced a couple of my peaks like that as well. And then you can go in here and move anything. Like if you played something too quickly and it screwed up the groove, you can go in and fix the notes. But you really just got to listen to it and see how it sounds. Alright, so once you got the pattern down and everything, the next thing that you can try out and mess around with is actually using two hi-hat samples and like using certain chunks from each one. So since we have these top parts separated, let's separate those out into different hi-hats. And then for this one, we're just going to get rid of all these bottom notes. Okay, so some options of things you could do is you could just pan these ones left and right really hard, maybe using this random pan option right here, which is probably what we're going to end up doing. You could even change the hi-hat sample and put different processing on each chain. You can do all different kinds of things like this, but I think for our case, we're just going to have those notes randomly panned pretty crazy, and then the regular ones are just going to play in line. Let's try putting these notes lower instead of higher. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to EQ the hi-hat. So I'm going to put this EQ on my group, which I have both of those two hi-hats inside of. What we're going to do is we're going to chop out all the lows. And if you need to raise any highs here, you can play with it, but don't go too crazy. Well, do whatever you want, honestly. But okay, so one other thing you can do is if you go into your audio effects here, there's this Overdrive plugin, which is, this plugin's just like a distortion plugin. So you can get some crazy effects with it. If you put on the hi-hats, it can make them sound more thick and grainy. So this is without it, and this is with it. So ridiculous, but you have a dry wet knob here, so you can tone it into what you like and then figure it out. Right, so big difference. So one last thing we're going to take a look at is using something like Looperator. There's a couple plugins that do this, but it lets you put a different effect on each part of the bar here. So I have this on my hi-hat group, and I don't really need to do anything because the hi-hats sound pretty good already. But I'll show you the kind of things that I like to use in here. A lot of this is overpowering and the noises are too crazy, but I'll show you that things that really make a cool little effect. Like this forward reverse is pretty dope. Maybe we put it on the next one though. Alright, these reverbs and these ones always work really well, and you can also rearrange the hi-hat pattern by using these slice options right here. But this is just an example of something simple you could put on there if you wanted to add a little more pizzazz. Alright guys, that's how you process your hi-hats, give them some pizzazz, give them a little bit of your own touch, and make them fit in the beat perfectly every single time. If you guys like that one, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new here, because we're uploading daily tutorials and you're not going to want to miss out on them. But besides that, I'll be catching you guys again in the next one. Peace out.